Hi, I wanted to share my views about the challenges of commodity markets, particularly what is happening all over the world on the oil prices, which has impact on practically every other commodity and has created a lot of issues even in the developed world, let alone the third world countries which are facing these challenges. If you look at the demand and supply situation, the demand for oil product is not to the extent which contemplate value over $100 per barrel. But this is being manipulated because most of the fund managers and the hedge funds, they are they have entered big time into the trade, and these trades, basically the paper trades, has created absolutely artificial market, resulting high oil prices, which then translate into, because this is a consumer product and everybody has to use, as a result all other prices have an impact correspondingly. All the countries of the world by and large have adopted indexing the oil prices for their particular countries to international prices, because no country in the world is basically in a position to subsidize what they used to do, say 5 years down the road. They are unable to do that. Therefore, any impact of increase in the prices have to be passed on to the consumer, and the consumer he has to face that challenge to pay extra for daily usage. Then the power prices, gas prices, and the eatables, everything correspondingly goes up. And I have a fear that sooner or later there will be a tremendous law and order issues in the third world countries, in Africa, in Southeast Asia particularly. Like in India, for instance, there are over a billion people. In Pakistan, there are 180 million people. And if the eatables prices are also hooked up to international, and these commodities, eatable commodities, are also subject to trading, then there is practically no control, and there is no demand supply scenario work out on the pricing anymore. So in my opinion, I think all the G8 and G20 countries, whenever they have meetings, these leaders have to focus as to how a new legislation or law can be implemented to take away the essential commodities, eatables, out of the purview of the trading. Because unless that is done, there will be no control that can be applied on, say, sugar, wheat, or corn prices, because they are all going up by and large over a period in time and are becoming beyond the reach of a common man, particularly in the third world countries. So people have a great difficulty to have their grocery bill pay, in addition to the gas bill and the electricity bill and the power bills. So this is a very, very important point that I want to make, and I want attention of all the leaders of the world whenever they have periodical meeting, and all the finance ministers when they have G20 or G8 meeting. They must deliberate this subject, that how can they take away or curb the trading on the eatables and the essential commodity. Until that time, this curb is implemented, and from Chicago Mercantile Exchange and the commodity exchanges, these commodities which are essential commodities, which are daily use commodities, they are taken out of the purview of the trading. the price control or to maintain a level which is affordability can never be achieved. And this is not a very difficult legislation. This is very important for the people in the world, that a common man needs that, and this must be implemented, and nobody should be allowed to trade these commodities. Now, once that is done, and also there needs to be rules and procedures to follow, and more legislation is required from the Congress and the Senate, from the US and other developed country, as to how the oil prices are regulated. For instance, in the last 3 days that we have noticed, the oil prices are going down, whereas on the gas station the prices are going up. And I don't know why these regulators cannot see the profitability of Exxon, for instance, or all the big oil companies, which are skyrocketing, and this is all profiting from the general public, from the consumers down the road who are suffering. On one hand, there is a high unemployment, over 9%, and in some part of the US over 10%. People have an issue of daily, meeting two ends, and on the other hand, these prices are going beyond a level which is totally uncontrolled. So this way, unless these things are controlled and curbed, the recession or the financial crunch that we saw in 2008, I can imagine that it would be, something like that would be coming very shortly. And as I said, you see the countries, third world countries, African countries, South Asian, all these countries, we can see a very serious law and order situation, and that no government will be able to control that, because if people are hungry, anything can happen. So it's again emphasized that some law should be implemented right now so that these things are controlled. So I thought, I share my views on this, and I would also like people to, listen to this thought and contribute and make comments to me as to whether this is, then, some submission can be sent to the higher authorities. Thank you.